Nidus Breachcast, the world's first identity management app made exclusively for identity experts and product owners, is available in the iOS App Store now. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Nidus Anarchy series. I'm your host Adam, CIO and co-founder of Nidus, and today I want to talk about the DEF CON 32 badge and how amazingly awesome this thing is. So after last year's total fiasco of total crap badge, which I covered again in the previous podcast, they came out with the most amazing badge ever. Like, they've surpassed any possible realm of reality we thought a badge could be, and just dominated the badge industry for this year. It was amazing, so much fun. So what it is, this is it, right? So I'll show you guys here on the little video. It is a Game Boy Advance emulator that they made running on the new Raspberry Pi chip that was launched the day this badge came out. And Raspberry Pi was there to even talk about it, so it's pretty rad. So this thing was done in collaboration with Raspberry Pi, and the group that made it was Entropic. We'll go over that. There's a little bit of controversy there, as you may have heard. But for right now, let's just talk about the badge and all the cool stuff about it. So when you wear it like this, right? So it looks like a cat, which is pretty awesome. Look, it's got little ears and everything. And then when you're playing the game, it's like this. So it makes it super nice as like a handheld. It works even with my big banana hands. But otherwise, when you're walking around, it looks like a cat with this big mouth open with little whiskers going on. It's so cool. I have the human badge. Obviously, they had different colored cases for the different people. So you had speakers, and you had the goons, and you had like the goons one had the red ones, the speakers had the blue ones, and there's orange ones, and there's a whole color of the rainbow. They're really, really cool. But the badge itself is amazing. I mean, look, even if you look at like the silk screening on the actual PC board, it's pretty crazy. Battery that comes on the back, not a simple watch battery this year, and it even came with a 1 gigabyte DEF CON branded mini SD card. That card didn't work well. You'll notice I do not have the black and white one in here. I have a custom one I have a regular one that we got from Walmart. I should say one of our employees ran out to Walmart to get a micro SD card, because I'll explain that in a second. But right now, yeah, the badge is awesome. Dark Tangent, DEF CON 32. I mean, this thing is cool. This case does come off. When I tried to take it off, I snapped one of the plastic pieces, and that's when I stopped and let everyone else take theirs off. So, oh, one other cool thing too I should show you, which is really common for DEF CON, is so they have this little port here, and there's this place, Hacker Box, that I picked this one up and soldered this whole thing together myself. I feel pretty impressed. But they had a whole bunch of different ones on here, and you can plug this into your top, and bam! Now your badge is even more elite. So this was a lot of fun to put together. Overall, the badge was an amazing thing this year. So I'm gonna show you a little game. So you're this little dude or chick walking around in this world, and it's kind of like a Pokemon Go / like Zelda type deal. So you leave your room, and then once you leave the room, you're now actually at DEF CON. Now what's crazy is this is actually, oh wait, let me get to the map here. I'll get to the map. There we go. It has the map of DEF CON. Like, this is actually where everything was in the actual convention. So you can see if you're curious where everything was in DEF CON, you can literally just pull up your badge and look at it in the game. So what's cool is you're running around. So right now I'm on floor 1, and then I got to go and find stuff. So I have to find a whole bunch of different things. So if we pause the game, click on the start button, we can go to my inventory, and we can see all the things that I found. So these I currently have the bedazzled shoe, I have the crypto book, I have a key. You'll notice I also have all 3 cats. That's kind of the goal of the game, is to find the 3 cats that are hidden around the game. And whoop, there we go. There's a watch to show the time. I think this is just kind of a, hey, they could do it, so it was just for fun, so that's there. And then we have QR codes. So these QR codes you have to find around the map, and on all there's 3 different floors in the room, and there's QR codes are hidden around. And so when you scan on one, it pops up a QR code, and each one takes you to something different. Some is information about the badge, some is just goofs, one is a Rickroll. So lots of fun there. There's cool little things to try and find. Photos are other things that you can find. So you can see I found 3 of them so far. So I have, this is oh, I wonder if this is a troll, but this is the last year's badge that everyone berated because it was so horrible. Let's see what else I have a picture of. I have a picture of this guy. Not sure who that is. And what else do I have? I have a picture of that dude holding a DEF CON badge. Looks like, I'm not sure what that is. Is that a DEF CON badge? Maybe. So you got to find all the photos, and the way you find the photos is by talking with different people in the map and all that kind of things. Now, it's also neat in the inventory. Like, let's say I go to the crypto book. Oops. Well, there's a bug. So, bugs, there were aplenty, let me tell you. But so I should be able to send the crypto book. So there's actually this IR receiver, sender receiver right here on the badge to be able to send things back and forth to other people so you can play people. But that doesn't work. It freezes your device 100% of the time. So I don't know how. Even just attempting to do it just froze my. Okay, so let's select another game. So this is the main menu of the game. So you can do a firmware upgrade. You can go into the settings of the game in here. So you can increase the speed up to 200%. This way I can move around. Everything goes a lot faster. Upscale, color. There's about us on here, about the development of the badge. And then we can power it off. So we're just going to power it off and start this thing back up. On the back here are 4 buttons as well. So there we go. Save game loaded. This is great. And okay. Thank you. Start, exit. Great. Now we're back in the room. Wonderful. So I wound up playing this way too long. So here's the thing with the badge. When it first came out, there was a huge bug that was bad. You couldn't save your game. So if you click on start, there's a thing, go down here and you hit save. And it goes, okay, save, delete, save. Congratulations, your game data is saved. The problem is that if you were to reset this device, if you turn it off, when you turn it back on, your save game is gone. So you have to start all over from scratch every time. Here's the fix that we figured out with the first firmware, the original release. So what you had to do was connect this thing to your laptop in DFU mode. So if you hold the back button down while you connect it into your laptop, it'll boot into DFU mode and you'll see the file system on your laptop. Then what you could do is you could copy over additional ROMs like Game Boy and Game Boy Advance ROMs onto this actual device. So what you'll see is if we go to mine here, exit, there we go. So there's select another game. So if I go in there, you'll see I have a whole bunch of other games now on my little emulator here. So to be able to save your game, what we had to do was you'd play the DEF CON game, save it, then you'd come in here to select another game, and we would select, like, let's just say we go to Super Mario Land. So I select Super Mario Land, and then yes, and now it loads the ROM. Once it's loaded and once the game's actually playable, then you can turn your device off. So then what happens is in this case, your Super Mario game would no longer be working, but your DEF CON game would be saved. So then what you would do is then once you're booted back up in Super Mario, you then change back to DEF CON, and then there we go. So there's Doom, or there's Doom. So people have gotten Doom running on this, I should say, which is pretty awesome. I'm kind of bummed I haven't done that. I'm definitely going to have to do it. But now that Super Mario is loaded, now what I would have to do is then come back in here and then select the DEF CON game and then load it, and then now my DEF CON game would be saved. That was fine. We're all like treating this as something we have to hack and figure out and play around with. So it really wasn't like the end of the world. And the fact that we figured out, and actually Kurt, one of our employees, was one of the guys that figured out that last part about the ROM saving switching stuff, which was rad. Posted that on the DEF CON Discord group to help everyone else out. But the problem is there's a button right here. This button on the back is just a reset button. You hit it and the whole thing just resets. The problem is, one time I was playing for probably about an hour or so, got really far, found a lot of the QR codes, got one of the cats. I was like, yeah, I'm doing it. And then I accidentally bumped the button and the game reset and I lost everything. I was so bummed. So that's when I was like, man, we got to figure out, a better way to do this. The other problem with this was that the SD cards were not writable. So the DEF CON branded SD cards that came with the thing, they didn't work. They're pretty much garbage. So they're written, and I don't know if they're made so that you couldn't update it on purpose, which doesn't make too much sense because there's a update firmware thing here in on the device itself. But yeah, we couldn't write to the card, so we had to go out and buy a micro SD card. Well, the problem was, as soon as everyone figured that out, you have thousands of people in a very small area all rushing out to buy all the micro SD cards. So like all the Walgreens and CVS's all sold out. You couldn't find a micro SD card anywhere. So Kurt actually went to Walmart And the reason he went to Walmart was because he had a SD card on him that worked, and it was a Walmart branded one. So he's like, look, I know for a fact that this card works with this device for whatever reason. So he went to Walmart, bought us a whole bunch of local micro SD cards, and then we flashed them, and we were able to get it to work. Because on the original DEF CON one, we couldn't write to it, which means we couldn't put the other ROMs onto the SD card, which meant then you couldn't do that back and forth to do the saving of the game. So now that we have it, we were able to write the ROMs and then able to save the game. Yay. The next day, there was a guy, Dimitri, that actually updated the firmware and updated the firmware to 1.5. And that allowed the save game fix, and I think a couple other bug fixes that he did in there. And he did that for free. This dude wasn't even being paid by DEF CON or anything. He was just doing this because he's just a huge fan of the community, and he really wanted to help everybody out. So he fixed the game for everyone. Yay. That was awesome. So thank you, Dimitri. And it was funny because the post that he put up on Twitter was saying about how he actually fixed the thing from the plane as he was flying into DEF CON. So that's even cooler. So yeah, overall, the badge was tons of fun. The game was super cool. There's little, secrets and things you have to figure out. There's a bunch of DEF CON trivia in there, and that's how you win the photos and some QR codes and stuff. And then once you find all 3 cats, that's when you've beat the game. Now, one other fun thing, because, DEF CON, they're all about having bright lights everywhere, is that you can set the LED colors of yours. So mine, you can choose every individual LED and change every color specifically. So this is what I made mine look like. So this way, when you're wearing the cat around at night, it looks like this. How rad is that, right? That's cool. So when you're wearing it on your badge, like, woo, it's pretty cool. And once you beat it, the whole thing turns green. It just shows like, oh, hey, you beat it, and congratulations. And then you can walk around DEF CON showing how awesome you are. One other thing which I'm going to let happen, we're just going to let this sit here like this, is when it's held upside down, aka when it's hanging from your neck, it turns into badge mode. So I think it's like after 30 seconds or so, the screen will actually flip around upside down and it goes into badge mode. Now mine, because I found all 3 cats and then I got them to where they're supposed to go and I did the thing, I beat the game. So therefore I get a special screen that shows, hey, I beat the game. So therefore when I'm walking around DEF CON, I can show off that I've found all the cats and I've beat the game. Otherwise, when you flip it upside down, it just says DEF CON 32, has the DEF CON 32 logo. And yeah, that's that. I'm just going to leave this going. Eventually it'll kick in. Now let's talk about the controversy around the badge, because there is a lot. As cool as this badge was, apparently, oh, there we go. Sorry. I'm not trying to segue, but there. So now you can see my guys at the final screen, and you can see I have all 3 cats at the bottom. So it shows, when you walk around in badge mode, it shows all the cats, how many you found and how many you haven't found. So you can see I found all 3 of them, and I'm at the final screen. There's my little guy up there in the corner. Okay, so now let's get into the controversy part. So let's see, how do I start this? There's so much. There's this company called Entropic Design. They were contracted by DEF CON to build out the badge and deliver it within a certain time frame, and it was supposedly unrealistic expectations and all this kind of stuff. And then DEF CON said, hey, you're not doing a good enough job, we're taking it from you. Anyway, so what I'm going to defer to, instead of my opinion, because I don't know any of these people directly, the only information that I have is what I've heard around DEF CON, which I can't really take any of that too seriously either. So what we have here is the actual DEF CON post from DEF CON with their view on it. So first I'm going to read DEF CON's take on the whole badge controversy, and then I'm going to read Entropic Design's statement on their whole side of the controversy. I mean, this led to crazy... the DEF CON goons grabbed the Dimitri, the developer guy that fixed the badge and saved the day type thing. They grabbed him off stage and they physically removed him from stage and kicked him out of the building. And that's online too. I mean, you can see him. They drag him down the stairs and haul his ass out to the front of the street. It was nuts. And those 2 of the guys seen in that video, 2 of those goons were the same ones that approached me and physically assaulted me. They were not the ones that physically assaulted me, but they were there when the other one did. So this seems to be a theme with DEF CON. So I don't want to sit there and say how awesome DEF CON is right now. I'm siding more on the Entropic side, but I believe the truth is somewhere in the middle. I'm in consulting. I've worked with clients with unrealistic expectations, with crazy demands and tight timelines. And so I could see the argument from both sides, but I definitely think there was some shady stuff going on. So first, let's read the post from DEF CON. This is posted on X. It's posted, says, responding to the DEF CON 32 badge controversy. DEF CON thrives on community collaboration and has operated for over 30 years, successfully working with hundreds of vendors, including dozens that have helped with our badges over the years. For this year's Raspberry Pi badges, DEF CON hired Entropic Engineering to do the hardware development and firmware. After going over budget by more than 60%, several bad faith changes, which I'll show you, and with a product still in pre-production, DEF CON issued a stop work order. Any claims that DEF CON did not pay Entropic Engineering for its hardware or firmware development are false. Unfortunately, we heard that these issues with Entropic Engineering were not unique to DEF CON. So they're throwing Entropic Engineering under the bus, saying it's all their fault. Now, when they say that there were several bad faith changes, I can show you the one specific that this is what caused all the crazy controversy and caused Dimitri to be kicked off stage. So if you go to the hardware settings and you go down to About, if you hit the Select button, you'll see an Easter egg. So they put in this Entropic Engineering rainbow screen, says hardware designed by Entropic, stolen credit returned. That made people be like, what is going on? And then there's a couple crypto addresses for donations, any key to exit. So why are they saying they had stolen? Because part of their deal, they said, was that they're supposed to have their name printed on this back badge cover, and DEF CON removed it at the last minute, saying, and they also removed them from not being allowed to talk on the panel talking about the badges. They said, nope, you can't go. We're not going to let you on. So that's what they're talking about when they're saying bad faith changes. We decided at that point to finish the badge on our own. We paid to send engineers to Vietnam to work on site to finalize and test badges in order to ensure they would be done on time for the conference. We never removed Entropic Engineers' logo from our badge. It's still on the PCB. However, Entropic was not involved in the design and production of the case, and we removed their logo we had added as a courtesy. So on the actual PCB, and I'm not sure where because I haven't taken mine out because I'm afraid to shatter this case, it does say Entropic Design. It might be under the battery. But what they're saying is on the back, which you can't really tell, it's kind of hard to see, but it says here, the Dark Tangent presents DEF CON 32, and then Mar something. It's really hard to tell. But apparently, I guess, Entropic Engineering was supposed to be probably like right there or something, and then DEF CON removed it. So we were happy to still include one of their contractors on the badge panel session. This is Dimitri. Unfortunately, shortly before the talk was set to take place, DEF CON became aware that an unauthorized code had been included in the firmware we had paid Entropic Engineering to produce, claiming credit for the whole badge and promoting their coin wallet to solicit money from DEF CON attendees above and beyond what we had negotiated. So that is this secret menu, this Easter egg. That's what they're super pissed about, is that they found out about this thing that he put in, and I mean, this is where it's like, what's your take, right? Because so Dimitri fixed the firmware to make the badges work so that everything, and he did it for free. But apparently this guy was being paid by Entropic originally as one of the designers, and on the flight over, even though he wasn't being paid, he fixed this thing. But then because Entropic Engineering had their title removed and they were being removed from the talk, I believe, as a hacktivism statement, he threw in this Easter egg, which software engineers tend to do, basically calling out DEF CON permanently. Additionally, which they're not stating here, which I'll show you on Dimitri's post, he says that he never gave DEF CON rights to use his code, and he's revoked the rights for them to use it. So therefore, anyone using the firmware code on these devices is doing so illegally unless they have a signed version, meaning he was out in the back actually autographing the badges, because this became super popular. So anyone that has an autograph automatically has the rights, and if you email him, he gives you the rights, or if you even post on his Twitter thing, he gives you the rights. So he's giving the rights to everyone. He's explicitly just saying DEF CON can't have this, and I've never given it to him, so they're using it illegally. It'll be curious to see if this turns into a lawsuit, I'll tell you that. When asked about the unauthorized code, the engineer, Dimitri, said it had been done as a joke 2 months ago and forgot to remove it, and we decided as an organization not to have him on stage while we kept the slides in the talk giving him credit for his work. Right there, that's shady, right? That's my opinion. But at the same time, they could have the argument of, well, we don't know what he's going to say on stage, it might look bad for us, so, hey, who knows? We communicated the change in advance of the talk, and this individual decided to show up for the panel anyway. He refused to leave, demanding that our security team remove him. Wanting to ensure that other people involved in creating the badge were able to deliver their presentation, we complied with his wishes and escorted him off the stage where he was free to continue attending the conference. Any issues of non-payment are between him and Entropic Engineering. DEF CON fulfilled its financial obligations. That's DEF CON's official statement. Also, he was kicked out of the conference and banned from DEF CON, by the way, so that part's not really true. Now, Entropic has also put out their statement. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's like 4 pages long, so I'm just going to read the intro, but you can read online. It's everywhere. Just search it. It's out there. Entropic Engineering was approached in January of 24 by the DEF CON badge team who were looking for a small company to partner with. They expressed that they specifically wanted to work with us as a woman-owned, queer, and POC-driven engineering firm to develop an electronic badge with gaming elements for this year's conference. The specifics of what they requested in January were extremely difficult, almost impossible, but we had been working with Raspberry Pi as a design partner and had early access to the unreleased Raspberry Pi RP2350, a chip that would enable exactly the kind of device DEF CON was requesting. Dimitri and Entropic had already been working on a Game Boy emulator and were thrilled to be able to contribute our work to a project directly and by the community. So this goes on, and basically what they're saying is they wound up not getting paid, and even with not getting paid, all the money that they're owed, they still continue development, and they basically say, hey, like we got screwed more than anyone else, and now we're getting double screwed at the end. Like right here, in June, after 5 months of late night work, badges were fully designed, prototypes were working, and mass production was ongoing with the manufacturers. We contracted on behalf of DEF CON. We billed DEF CON for our most recent work, discounting our labor by 25% in order to meet the agreed upon targets. Unfortunately, we were instead met with a work stoppage request and informed we would no longer be paid for services already rendered. That's where it's kind of shady. Now they're saying, okay, stop work, and all the stuff that you've already done, we're not paying you for that. That to me, as a contractor that's been in that situation, that sucks, and I believe there's definitely some truth there. Ultimately, DEF CON chose to send a member of their own team overseas to on-site production, while Entropic Engineering and Dimitri continued working for free behind the scenes to ensure that the badges delivered to our community would reflect the care we have for our community, this project, and Raspberry Pi launch. This is crazy, but basically, like I said, the gist is they're saying they did all this work for an unrealistic deadline, and DEF CON totally reneged and then didn't pay them for work that they've already done. They removed the branding from the badge they said they were going to have. They removed them from the talk of the badge, saying how we built the badge, and then Dimitri fixed the badge on the flight there for free, showed up to the talk, and when they said, hey, Entropic Engineering is not allowed, and they took, like they said on their talk, at the last minute they decided not to bring him on stage, that's when he said, I'm not leaving, and that's when you'll see the video where the goons grab him, lift him up, and roll him down the stairs and carry him out the facility, and they say, oh, then he's able to continue. Not true at all. He was absolutely banned from DEF CON, and he was outside on the sidewalk signing badges for people. I wish I got my badge signed. Dimitri, I'd love to interview you as well. If for some reason you're happy to see this, I would love to get your take on this, because right now we have these two very biased sides. Obviously, I would believe Dimitri's side would be biased as well, but I think hearing it from the horse's mouth is probably the best way to get any of this information. So in the end, the DEF CON badge is amazing. Entropic Engineering did a great job. So did all the other people that worked on this and put time and effort in this. Whether they were paid or not, the product came out amazing. So I personally want to say thank you, because this, to me, was so much fun. They're actually, I think they printed more badges than they had people, because they were selling these badges the last couple of days of DEF CON, just whoever wanted one. I think they're like $200, $250. You could just go buy one. But these things are so cool that now on eBay, these things are selling for over $300. Like right now, like as of today, there was one that sold for over $300 that has active bids on it and everything. So that's how you know you've done something amazing. So Entropic Engineering, it sucks whatever happened. I don't know where the truth is, but either way, I hope that your name gets out there for doing an amazing job on this badge, because in the end, it was awesome. It was a ton of fun, and it really made everyone super excited and think that DEF CON was going to be great again. It just wasn't. So I'm sorry that you guys were pulled into this. I hope that Entropic Engineering comes out on top, or at least comes out with some type of amicable resolution, and I'd love to speak with both of them. I'd love to hear your opinions too. If you were at DEF CON, one, what did you think about the badge? Just in general, was it fun? Did you like it? Did you get all 3 cats? There are still tons of bugs in there, but who cares? It's fun. It's totally something cool to hack with. And then if you have any inside info from the DEF CON side or the Entropic Engineering side, I'd love to hear that from you as well. Like, because we're hearing obviously very biased sides online. It's always, one side versus the other. I'd love to hear what really happened in the middle. So if you have that, please let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I will not see you at the next DEF CON, but I will see what Entropic Engineering is doing next, because I'm really curious what they're up to. See you guys around. Bye. Nidus has just created the first iOS app made exclusively for identity management professionals. It's called Nidus Breachcast, and you can download it now. It's amazing. We have real-time updates of all the latest breaches that are occurring, CVEs as they come out real-time, really pertaining just to identity management. We have media that's going on this podcast. We're going to be bringing in a lot more others as well. And we even have a complete vendor list of all the identity management vendors and all their products, so you can find out exactly where to download their software, all the documentation. And what's even more awesome is an identity management glossary. All those crazy words and acronyms that we can never remember, they're all listed in there for you. No ads, just pure information to make your life simple.